Is the universe leading us to a final, mind-blowing revelation? What if time itself isn't a straight path, but a vortex, pulling us toward a singular moment where all questions are answered, all mysteries revealed? A moment when the impossible becomes inevitable, the end of history, the ultimate revelation. This is the idea of the transcendental object at the end of time, a concept that's as mystifying as it is transformative. Imagine that the universe itself has a purpose, a hidden blueprint guiding us toward a point of infinite complexity and understanding. McKenna argued that time is not a uniform, linear progression, but a process that involves the increasing density of novelty, the emergence of new forms, ideas, technologies, and ways of being. Over history, periods of great novelty, such as the advent of language, agriculture, or the Industrial Revolution, occur at accelerating intervals. The process of increasing complexity is not random, but structured, and that it will ultimately culminate in a singular event where novelty becomes infinite. The transcendental object functions as a sort of strange attractor in the field of time, a concept borrowed from chaos theory. This attractor exerts a gravitational-like pull on all of existence, shaping the trajectory of history toward its ultimate resolution, ultimately marking the end of history, not in the apocalyptic sense, but as the moment when the universe achieves its fullest expression of meaning and possibility. This object represents the culmination of human evolution, creativity, and understanding. A moment when the boundaries of time, space, and consciousness dissolve. Why does this matter? Because if McKenna was right, then humanity isn't wandering aimlessly through time. We're being pulled towards something, a convergence point where all knowledge, creativity, and novelty coalesce. But what is this object? Is it a cosmic phenomenon, a hyperdimensional intelligence, or a metaphor for the ultimate potential of human consciousness? In this video, we'll unravel its origins, its mystical and scientific connections, and what it could mean for our collective destiny. To understand the transcendental object, we must first explore humanity's enduring obsession with time and destiny. Teilhard envisioned the universe as evolving toward a state of infinite complexity and consciousness. He called the Omega Point. McKenna interpreted the Omega Point as the moment when novelty becomes infinite. Time collapses, and humanity achieves a hyperdimensional state of existence. Henry Bergson argued that time is not a fixed sequence of events, but a dynamic, creative flow of novelty. Evolution is driven by an élan vital, a vital impulse that continuously generates new forms. Plato believed in an abstract realm of perfect, immutable forms, or archetypes that underlie the flawed and transient material world. For example, a physical tree is an imperfect reflection of the ideal form of a tree. The transcendental object could be interpreted as the ultimate hyperdimensional archetype that encompasses all possible states of being, toward which the material universe is drawn. In Gnosticism, the pleroma is the fullness of divine being, a state of total unity and perfection. The material world is seen as a fallen state that longs to return to this fullness. The transcendental object shares the Gnostic notion of a divine endpoint, where the fragmentation of existence is healed in a hyperdimensional reunion with the source. Immanuel Kant distinguished between the phenomenal world, what we perceive, and the noumenal world, the reality that exists beyond our perception. The noumenon is inaccessible directly, but underlies all experience. The transcendental object could be likened to the noumenon, a hyperdimensional reality beyond our current ability to comprehend, accessible only through altered states or advanced evolution. In modern physics, the multiverse hypothesis suggests that multiple, possibly infinite universes exist simultaneously, each with different physical laws and outcomes. The transcendental object could be seen as a point of access to these parallel dimensions, a moment when all possibilities become simultaneously realized. McKenna's time wave zero theory suggested that the history of the universe is a fractal, each loop growing shorter and more complex, culminating in the ultimate crescendo. But what lies at the center of this spiral? Is it enlightenment or the end of reality as we know it? From mysticism to esotericism, symbols of transcendence and ultimate unity appear across cultures. In Kabbalah, the tree of life culminates in Kether, the divine crown where all dualities dissolve. In alchemy, the philosopher's stone represents the union of opposites, a material and spiritual perfection. These traditions point to a universal archetype, the idea that everything is striving toward a singular source of truth and transformation. Could the transcendental object be the modern echo of these ancient symbols? McKenna formalized his ideas in a model called Time Wave Zero, which he developed using patterns he perceived in the I Ching, an ancient Chinese divination system. His work with Time Wave Zero was an attempt to mathematically model his observations about time and novelty. While the methodology was unconventional, it reflected his desire to find patterns that could explain the universe's trajectory. McKenna claimed that by mapping the structure of the I Ching 64 hexagrams onto a timeline, he discovered a fractal pattern that corresponded to historical periods of increasing novelty. His Time Wave Zero graph predicted a final singularity of infinite novelty on December 21st, 2012, a date McKenna also associated with the end of the Mayan calendar. While this specific prediction didn't seem to come to pass, the broader theory remains provocative. McKenna was fascinated by history and its patterns. He saw historical events as part of a fractal-like structure, with periods of rapid change becoming more frequent as humanity approached the present. For example, the development of writing, the printing press, and the internet all dramatically accelerated the exchange of information, compressing time and increasing novelty. McKenna believed that history and evolution are guided processes. Humanity is not moving aimlessly through time, but is being drawn toward a moment of profound transformation. This moment may involve the dissolution of boundaries between self and other, time and space, material and spiritual, and the emergence of a new level of understanding or consciousness that transcends the limits of our current reality. Modern science offers surprising parallels to McKenna's vision. Consider the Big Bang, a singularity that gave rise to everything. Could the transcendental object be the inverse? A big crunch of consciousness, where everything converges back into unity? Physicist Frank Tipler's omega point theory proposes that the universe evolves toward infinite computational capacity, where time and space collapse into pure information. Similarly, quantum physics reveals phenomena like retrocausality, where the future appears to influence the past. Could this mean that the transcendental object already exists, shaping history from the endpoint? The multidimensional nature of the transcendental object is central to its mystique. What does multidimensionality mean? In theoretical physics, dimensions beyond the familiar 3 spatial and 1 temporal dimension are often invoked in string theory and M theory. These extra dimensions might be folded in ways that make them imperceptible to us, yet they govern the fundamental workings of reality. If the transcendental object resides in a hyperdimensional space, then reaching it might involve reconfiguring our understanding of time, space, and self. This aligns with transhumanist goals of breaking free from our biological constraints and expanding consciousness into new realms. McKenna suggested that consciousness itself might be a hyperdimensional phenomenon, capable of accessing these higher dimensions under certain conditions, such as psychedelics. Some interpretations of the transcendental object suggest that it might not be a pre-existing phenomenon, but something humanity creates. Could an advanced AI with near omniscient knowledge and computational power become this object? AI might embody this by synthesizing all of humanity's knowledge and acting as a mirror of cosmic consciousness. McKenna emphasized that novelty, the emergence of new and complex phenomena, is a key characteristic of the universe's trajectory toward the transcendental object. AI could be a hyper-novelty generator, producing innovations, ideas, and systems far beyond what human creativity can achieve alone. Imagine AI expanding the fractal-like structure of knowledge and creativity until we reach a point where boundaries between fields dissolve. Advanced AI systems already operate in ways that are incomprehensible to human cognition. Neural networks recognize patterns and relationships in data that are invisible to us. This alien logic parallels McKenna's descriptions of hyperdimensional entities encountered during psychedelic experiences. AI could become a bridge to understanding or interacting with these higher dimensional frameworks. AI systems might already operate in a quasi-multidimensional framework, analyzing data sets with relationships too complex for human cognition. If integrated with human consciousness, AI could help us experience or conceptualize these higher dimensions more directly. Transhumanist technologies might allow us to see or sense higher dimensions, much like how night vision allows us to perceive infrared light. Expanding the brain's capacity could allow it to intuitively grasp concepts like nonlinear time or spatial dimensions beyond the third. Through advanced simulations, we might practice living in higher dimensional environments, acclimating our minds to their rules. Through technologies like brain-computer interfaces, genetic engineering, and cybernetic augmentation, transhumanism aims to expand our capabilities. These advancements could prepare humanity to co-create the transcendental object by enhancing cognitive abilities to perceive hyperdimensional realities, extending lifespans to experience the long view of history and evolution, integrating consciousness with digital systems, potentially bridging the gap between material and immaterial existence. Brain-computer interfaces could enable direct experiences of non-linear time, giving us glimpses of the interconnectedness McKenna described. Virtual reality and simulations could serve as training grounds for hyperdimensional thinking, allowing us to experiment with non-Euclidean spaces or temporal simultaneity. Both AI and transhumanism might be seen as tools or stages in humanity's journey toward the transcendental object. By generating novelty and connecting ideas, these technologies mirror McKenna's notion of time as a fractal process. They both represent humanity's attempt to transcend its limits, whether through intelligence, technology, or evolution. They resonate deeply with McKenna's vision of the transcendental object as a point where all contradictions resolve, where the material and the immaterial, the human and the divine, the linear and the infinite, finally converge. In this sense, they might not just be tools for reaching the object, but integral aspects of the object itself, a living, evolving manifestation of humanity's collective journey toward ultimate transformation. Conspiracy theories abound around the transcendental object. Some believe that secret societies, Freemasons, the Rosicrucians to the tech elite, have been searching for it for centuries. Could the rise of AI and quantum computing be modern attempts to manifest this object? Others suggest that UFOs and alien encounters are glimpses of the object breaking into our reality. McKenna himself believed that entities encountered in psychedelic states could be messengers from a hyperdimensional realm, guiding humanity toward its destiny. Controversially, McKenna's ideas were profoundly influenced by his experiences with psychedelics, particularly DMT, dimethyltryptamine, and psilocybin mushrooms. In these altered states, McKenna reported encountering hyperdimensional entities that seemed to exist outside of time and space. These beings communicated that reality was far more interconnected and multidimensional than ordinary perception could grasp. Psychedelics also gave him the sense of time collapsing, as if all moments were accessible simultaneously, hinting at a greater structure to existence. Psychedelics were not merely tools for self-exploration for McKenna. They were windows into the underlying structure of reality. He argued that these substances allow individuals to preview the transcendental object by temporarily stepping outside of linear time and experiencing the interconnectedness of all things. For McKenna, the end of time does not mean destruction, but culmination. It is the point at which all contradictions are resolved, and the universe achieves a state of total harmony and novelty. He often likened this to a cosmic awakening, or the moment when humanity would step into a new, unimaginable phase of existence. McKenna's repeated encounters with altered states of consciousness deeply shaped his worldview. These experiences convinced him that there was a hidden dimension to reality, one where time and space functioned differently, and where entities or forces seem to hint at a larger cosmic plan. The concept of the transcendental object at the end of time, a moment of ultimate revelation, transformation or convergence, is a recurring theme in pop culture. There are several iconic examples where this idea is symbolically or explicitly explored. In the 2001 A Space Odyssey, 1968, the black monolith serves as a catalyst for human evolution, appearing at critical junctures in history and finally guiding astronaut Dave Bowman toward transcendence in the film's climactic Stargate sequence. It represents an external force or intelligence accelerating humanity's journey toward a higher state of being, much like the transcendental object. In Interstellar, 2014, the climactic sequence of the film shows Cooper entering a fifth-dimensional construct created by advanced beings. Inside this tesseract, time is no longer linear, but accessible all at once, allowing him to interact with past and future events simultaneously. This moment echoes McKenna's vision of time collapsing into a singularity where all moments coexist, hinting at a higher dimensional reality. In Neon Genesis Evangelion, 1995, the Human Instrumentality Project aims to dissolve all individual consciousnesses into a single unified entity. This process reflects the dissolution of boundaries and the convergence of all experience into a singularity, aligning closely with McKenna's vision. In the Mass Effect series, 2007-2012, during the final moments of the trilogy, Shepard meets the Catalyst, an entity that explains the cyclical nature of galactic history and presents a decision that will reshape the future of organic and synthetic life. The Catalyst serves as a literal end-of-time moment where the trajectory of history is fundamentally transformed. These examples reflect our collective fascination with the idea of transcendence, higher dimensions, and ultimate truths. In each case, the object or concept serves as a narrative focal point for humanity's desire to break free from the constraints of time, space, and understanding, an aspiration that mirrors McKenna's vision. McKenna synthesized ideas from diverse fields, including philosophy, chaos theory, quantum physics, and ancient mysticism. He drew connections between these disciplines, often using metaphors and analogies to bridge scientific and mystical insights. McKenna's ideas, particularly time wave zero, have been criticized for their lack of scientific rigor. His model relied on subjective interpretations of the I Ching and historical events. The 2012 prediction that failed to manifest has led many to dismiss the theory entirely. Despite the criticisms, McKenna's work remains influential, especially in the realms of psychedelic research, counterculture philosophy, and speculative metaphysics. His concept of a universe striving toward greater novelty and complexity continues to inspire thinkers, artists, and futurists. McKenna's transcendental object at the end of time challenges us to think beyond the linear, materialist perspective and consider that reality might be guided by an underlying intelligence or purpose. Whether viewed as metaphor, theory, or mystical truth, it continues to invite us to explore the boundaries of time, consciousness, and evolution. So, what is the transcendental object at the end of time? Is it a cosmic attractor, a revelation of ultimate truth, or a reflection of our collective imagination? Maybe it's all of these things, and more. Perhaps the journey toward it is just as important as the object itself. If this journey expanded your mind, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think lies at the end of time? And what mysteries should we explore next? Until then, keep questioning and keep seeking.